Hello, everyone. This is the Movie Night Society, and we're talking about a great movie, a true classic, Grown Ups, starring Adam Sandler, Chris Rock, Kevin James, Rob Schneider, and David Spade.
Someone call this movie a blockbuster. You know what I'm saying? Like a
I
real
mean,
Who called it a blockbuster?
okay,
people,
for I mean, it made a lot of money at the box office.
It's got
But-
some big names in it, so
Yeah,
it had a well-known cast.
yeah.
Sometimes that's all it takes.
Yeah. Yeah, Dustin picked this movie.
On
And,
Julian's birthday. Happy birthday
on
to
my
him.
birthday. Yeah. What a great birthday gift. Yeah, Dustin, why don't you tell us why you picked Grown Ups? Why did we do this?
Okay, well, first of all, why the fuck did you phrase it like that? I'm curious. I thought I was gonna be a big fan here. But to be honest, dude, the way I chose it, and I'll give a quick overview of what I think about it. This is one of the Adam Sandler movies that is let me get my lighting consistent here. Jesus. This is one of those Adam Sandler movies that's like really like every official like review place, it's super low. And understandably why, which we can get into. I didn't pick it because I thought it was like this masterpiece of fucking film. I didn't pick it because of that. I did pick it because this movie has so much like meaning to me when it comes to like just hanging out with people, and it reminds me a lot of how I like fuck around with people like that I know, and how like people that I know fuck around with me to a certain extent on like a good day, like the way they roast each other. And like I've had like a bunch of nights where like we're just hanging out in somebody's room, and then somebody pops it on in the background, and every once in a while you laugh at like a good part, like a quick joke. Like in the very beginning, the reunion at the funeral, when I'm not going too far into the plot, but that's literally right in the beginning. That whole meetup scene is hilarious. And I just have a lot of good memories with it. Every time it's been on and I've watched it, I've had a good time, whether it be alone, with other people, with family even. And also my family has like a really good, like, what would you call it? Like a good experience with Adam Sandler. Like my whole family loves like 50 First Dates and like Mr. Deeds and all these movies that Adam Sandler, they're not great movies. It's corny humor, but since I grew up with it, I think it's just absolutely hilarious. And I think it's also funny that while the audience reviews for the movies, like for example, Rotten Tomatoes, I had to look this up because I wasn't sure, but I mean, I knew this was going to happen. The reviews officially from like, I don't know what you would call it, but like the official tomato meter thing, they're all pretty low for most Adam Sandler movies that I like, including Grown Ups. It's like really low. So I think it's one of the bottom ones. But the reviews from the fans and everyone who watches it, the audience score, super high comparatively, like super high. I'm not talking like 90% for this one. I think for this, it was like 60 or 70%, whatever, which isn't, fucking great. I don't think this is like one of the best movies ever, especially when it comes to like weird plot points that I definitely don't like in it. But just certain moments, like in the very beginning, or, like I said, when they meet up, or whenever they have kind of like the time in between the plot points where they're just hanging out, making jokes. I think that's the best. Like I could watch this movie forever. And since last week, when I said we should watch it, I've watched it 4 times. I've watched it,
God.
and I'm talking like I didn't just I didn't just watch it like on the background. I avidly watched it 4 times, like paying attention to all the jokes. And every single time, this is how you know where my humor comes from sometimes, man, is every time I watched it, every single joke that I thought was funny, I cracked up like alone. Like in my room, I was just laughing. Like I don't know why, man. It's just I
Your
grew
grandma
up
was
with
probably
this
like
humor.
banging on your door. Dustin, stop.
I know.
Stop
Yeah.
laughing at this movie.
Get the fuck out. Like I'm just yelling at everybody. But yeah, that's why I chose it. I grew up on his humor, and this is one of the movies that I personally, for some reason, man, it just the humor hits along with like Mr. Deeds. Like I said, that's a really low review one. I love that one. I would say, for context, to end this real quick, I think a lot of the recent movies Adam Sandler has done, humor and film wise, are garbage. Other than Uncut Gems, and I think there's one other one I forget the name of, and I haven't seen all of them, but most of them they're not that good. I don't know why. He just uses product placement to go on a vacation for filming, I think, at this point. But
It's funny that you say that because I felt that way about this movie.
yeah, 100%.
It's really like,
think
hey,
most
we got a
people
lake house.
Feel
Yeah.
that way about this movie.
100%.
Yeah.
That's it. Because he's either like, for his movies, he's vacationing with his family in real life every time he films. It's either on a beach, on a Caribbean fucking island, in the mountains, and in this case, a lake house. And I think it's very obvious because when you put that with the good old KFC branding together, it's very obvious. That's the only part that I can't get out of my head. Like, I wish I never knew that he did that, because when I found that out, I was like, fuck, man, it kind of ruined the experience a little bit. But all in all, that's why I chose it. So, bam.
Great.
It has to say great. Video ends.
This the quickest review we've ever done.
Well, what did you like? Have you seen this one before?
I have seen Grown Ups before, a long time ago.
Okay, so we'd all seen it before.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I only seen it once. I
Same.
suppose I know Dustin's seen it multiple times, but I think we discussed when Dustin chose the movie that we both had seen it once, and for me it was probably like a cup. It came out in 2005, didn't it? This movie?
No,
No, way later.
2010.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I probably saw it in like 2012 then, or 13.
Me too.
So that's about 10. God, it's really that old. Wow.
I saw this in the
I thought it was
theater.
older than that.
You saw it in
did?
the theaters?
Yeah, I did.
I don't
Oh,
remember
gosh.
you telling us that.
I don't remember. I think. Do you remember? I'm not going to say his name.
I
but,
can't
like,
imagine
one
you
of my
being
friends
a
wanted to see
raving
it.
fan of this movie, seeing it in the theater. There's no shot.
A theater experience for this movie would have been interesting. Like, how many people are actually going to laugh at the jokes?
Dude, I would have loved it. I love it now, but I would have loved it way more, even if I didn't like it. If there was a crowd laughing at everything, I would have fucking came in my pants, dude. Honestly, man.
Thank you for that description.
Oh, you're welcome. I like to get detailed with my reviews here.
Okay, then. Next point.
Well, okay. I think it's pretty obvious. I hated it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, what a shock!
Oh, what a
think it's a
spoiler,
shock at all.
dude. We didn't know.
I thought Julian would
Yeah.
love this movie.
Oh God.
Hey, wait!
I
you wrote you were gonna write down how many times you laughed. Are you gonna reveal that now, or is that gonna be?
I did write down every
You
time I
did?
laughed.
I didn't think you were gonna do it.
Are we gonna see the paper?
Wait, no.
I'm gonna. Well, okay. I think we'll
Wait,
go
wait,
through
Will,
the movie
don't tell us
and
yet.
I'll,
Will, we have to. I think we did it last week, but I forgot. We have to guess what the number is.
His score, or how many times he laughed?
How many times he laughed?
how many times I laughed?
I'm guessing 0.
0.
I'm legitimately guessing 0.
I'm gonna give it.
Wait, does a chuckle count as a laugh?
Yes, I'm talking based on what you know about Julian, whether it be a chuckle or a laugh. Whatever got him to write down that he laughed.
I could see him doing like a laugh of pain, whereas this movie is hurting him,
counts.
and therefore it's causing him to laugh, like with Flubber.
I only decided to write down if something made me laugh, like that was intentionally funny.
I'm giving it 3. I'm gonna say 3 times.
Okay.
You know what? I'm gonna go with 1.
1.
I'm gonna go with 1.
Okay.
That's
I
That's
still think
Should I reveal how many times I laughed
Yes.
now?
Yes, do it.
My first guess was right. Watch.
8.
Yeah, dude.
Really?
I managed to laugh 8 times at this movie,
Wow.
which was really surprising.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was gonna be that high.
They weren't like, like, oh my God, like ha ha ha,
Belly
like
laughs.
yeah. I think there was a couple lines and moments that did make me laugh kind of hard.
Can I say what I think that at least like one character made you laugh? Steve Buscemi.
Yeah,
Like one of them was from
Yes,
I knew it.
dude.
That was-
Steve Buscemi was actually like, I was chuckling a lot with Steve Buscemi. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
if
So
Julian
good.
laughs at anything in this movie, it's only going to be because of Steve Buscemi.
Yeah.
that was the only thing I remember laughing at when I saw it in the theater.
I didn't
And I was
remember
like,
him being
okay.
in this at all. Or Chris Rock. When Chris Rock showed up, I was like, he was one of the main characters in this? I don't even remember that.
Yeah.
Probably because he didn't have as much to
Yeah,
do as the
he's-
others, but we can get into that.
True.
Yeah.
Wait, are
Uh,
you gonna go over the plot, or are you gonna go through the list of what made you laugh?
Yeah, how do we want to
I-
tackle this?
I don't
Because
know.
honestly, the plot's kind of weird, but
there really isn't much of a plot. In
It's
this
more like
movie.
going
yeah,
through the
it's
jokes.
super weird. There's a bunch of
Yeah.
little shit.
It's really going through the jokes, I suppose.
Yeah.
What
pretty
worked and
much.
didn't work.
Yeah, like it starts out with, I guess, a flashback, or when they were kids, and they're on like a basketball team, and they win this like championship game or something, and the coach like gives a really whatever sappy speech, and then like it cuts to when they're older, and they each get a call like, oh, the coach died, and they're all going to attend the funeral. Which I have to say, I don't really know why it had to be like this coach for this basketball game from when they were kids. And like they all even say that like, oh, we like never saw him again.
Yeah.
That was like, why would they even
On top
attend the
of that-
funeral?
On
'Cause they
top
were
of that,
only
there
a
is
winning
never,
team. Right?
there's never been a person in my life that I knew when I was like 11 or 12 that I look up to as much as they did now. Like even
Yeah.
now. And they were like fucking 40. Like there's no shot. Like it's so ridiculous. That is ridiculous. Like, dude, you're not gonna
Yeah,
remember
that
that
was-
much.
So bizarre. And then I guess we'll like kind of go through each character, because they're kind of introduced one by one in the sequence where they're each getting a call about his death and everything.
Well,
So I think we're introduced to Adam Sandler first, right?
yeah,
And he's like a big Hollywood agent,
but not for Hulk Hogan.
not for Hulk Hogan. I didn't even catch that, I guess. I didn't.
God damn it.
I caught that one. I got you, Dustin.
Thank you.
I'll say
I didn't
I
laugh,
watched-
but I caught it.
Thank you.
I watched this movie with a friend because they were here, and I was like, oh shit, I forgot
Who'd
to
you-
watch.
Well, actually, maybe we shouldn't say because it's a recording.
Well, it was my friend David. I usually watch
Okay.
some of these movies with him, but like we were both just like, I don't know, just like trying to figure out like what's the joke here? Like what's the
Well, to be
what's
fair,
happening?
this is not a movie. I feel like, and maybe I'm wrong in certain aspects, but just in general, man, there's no shot you're gonna introduce me to anybody who enjoys actual film and reviews and like the technical aspect who's gonna watch this and like it. It's not made for that. And I don't think many Adam Sandler movies are. Maybe 2 or 3, maybe.
Yeah.
I
But I
it's
mean-
one of those, like, it's hard to review because it is bad. Everyone knows it's bad. It's just you got to find the light in it somehow.
I think
me,
there's
it's just
other
me.
Adam Sandler Adam Sandler comedies that are pretty funny,
What do you like?
like Billy Madison.
Happy
Yes.
Gilmore,
Uh,
Waterboy.
And I haven't seen these in
Mhm.
a while, but like I still remember jokes from them, like
Mhm.
Happy Gilmore, The Water Boy.
I think, dude, Waterboy is another one that's rated just like this, like absolutely garbage.
Yeah,
but
I
the
mean, all
audience
of his
loved
movies seem to be,
it. True.
which
True.
like, I don't know, like it's like horror and comedy are very like, I feel kind of subjective, and like a lot of critics don't, it's like they have like a higher standard for it, which, I don't know. I think it's weird, but this movie I think deserves it. But I think like Waterboy and like Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison are pretty funny.
Love them.
Like I
Waterboy
still
is my favorite.
remember I still remember things that make me laugh about like from those movies.
On an off topic, by the way, do you remember your favorite part of Waterboy or a line that you always think about?
Yeah, I think Will and I both know
What?
part, right? It's when Colonel Sanders is like just walking.
Oh yeah, we would replicate that scene.
And yeah, we used to just like recreate this thing all the time when we were kids.
Oh yeah.
And like what was it like oh god, what's his name?
Henry Winkler?
Yeah, Henry
He's the
Winkler.
coach. Yeah, he's like under
yeah,
his
he's
desk.
yeah, and he's like getting upset about something. I don't remember what, but he's like I cried like a 10-year-old girl, and he like picks up a ball on the desk and throws it out the window and just hits Colonel Sanders in the head. And he's like, it just falls over. It's so stupid, but it's like the timing was pretty funny. Like it's just so out of nowhere.
I still have
Like,
that scene.
That's still funny to me.
And
I think what
love that
nails it also is like the
scene.
sound effects of the ball hitting him and just like the yell he gives when he falls over.
Yeah.
It's just like too
the
good.
quick sound effect. I gotta go back and hear his scream, but I feel like I remember it, but
It's like
I don't.
or something. Like,
I gotta go back
I laugh every
and
time I
see
try
that, dude.
doing it.
And on Waterboy, real quick, I just feel like I should bring up modern. If we're talking about Adam Sandler movies or whatever it comes, I feel like relating news in current day shit we should bring up to a certain extent. Recently, I don't know if you guys, I don't have TikTok. I never have, but apparently on TikTok, which makes its way to Instagram, which I do have, one of the lines from Waterboy went viral recently, like a couple weeks ago, and it's the same soundbite, and it's that thing near the end of the movie. I'm not even going to quote it because it won't be funny, but just one of the funny lines from the end of Waterboy made it as like one of those sound bites that everyone uses. You know, they film over it and stuff, and they make like a skit out of it or whatever. One of those got really big. And on that note as well, I went into the comments of one of them because I wanted to see like who made the video because I wanted to look up their other stuff. And most of the comments you could tell were really, really like young people because they had no fucking idea that it was from Waterboy. If I play it, you would know it. I'll do it after this.
So.
Dude, I read that and it was like Benjamin Button, dude. I just felt the lines in my face. Like I was like, dude, I can't, man. Like it was so bad. But I had to bring that up just because we're on the subject of that. But yeah, I mean, continue. I'm sorry. I always fucking go off on random shit.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. It seems like the 90s Adam Sandler comedies had like a weird character that he would play or just bizarre humor. This movie isn't really like that, and it's I don't know how to describe this movie.
I think his older like 90s movies too had I don't know, a lot more plot evolved around like the movies or interesting ideas where he's going back to school as an adult or like he's a hockey player.
That's like a funny premise.
Yeah, whereas like a lot of his like more like other 2000s and onwards I didn't have like his creative premises.
Yeah, and like Happy Gilmore and
on that difference,
like
by the way,
movies.
On that difference, which I'm sure you guys know, and it's the way I split what you just said, Julian, in my head. I think the reason this role for him feels different from the 90s ones is because all the really big 90s movies were characters that he played on SNL that already did really well.
Yeah.
The Waterboy, which had a different name, I forget, and all this other stuff. He had done skits in the past, even if it was just a little part for all those characters, and they like went through the roof. Everyone, like, those were some of the best skits from back in the day with him when he was on that show. Whereas this movie, it felt like it was definitely a vacation movie. And then second to that, you could tell this character was never, it feels more like him being himself and just messing around with his real life friends because they're all friends in real life, like really close. A lot of them were on SNL together. And they split up at some point, and Adam Sandler wasn't even one of the original guys on there. But, you know, it felt like one of those things which is why I also like it, is because it feels like, in a bad way, yet his role is kind of weird. It's just like this rich dude who doesn't want to get, like, roasted because he's wealthy, which isn't that interesting, especially compared to other things. But
it's really strange.
Yeah, that was one of the recurring jokes throughout the entire movie.
I hate that part. I
thought like,
Will, you and me, whenever we meet up, man, I want to have a 30-minute conversation about how that plot point is fucking annoying. I can't.
It was pretty annoying. It was never funny once. Not
Every
even
time
once.
he brings up his nanny and pretends she's in school, I was like, dude, just get
We've-
past this part
We've
already.
seen that
Like,
joke like a million times, done a
it's not
lot
funny.
better. That one,
there's
yeah.
never been one funny part with that.
There
whole
were
bit.
several jokes throughout this movie where it's like they keep coming back with it, and it just is never funny.
Terrible. And just to end what I was saying, the reason I don't like this character of his is because of that, but also the reason I like it is because of that. Because I think, and I'm not trying to parasocial fucking Adam Sandler. I don't fucking know him, obviously, but it feels like to a certain extent, at least, since you know they're all friends in real life. And there were a couple parts you could tell he had genuine laughter. I think I like it because it's also kind of him being himself almost. Like a more what would you say, like a more like saturated version of himself in this movie, along with the other characters to a certain extent. And I think that's just really funny. But also, yeah, it did suck at the same time.
You know why that joke just doesn't work to me, at least, is the fact that all his friends know he's this rich Hollywood producer. What exactly was he? Like, he worked in Hollywood.
He was an agent.
Hollywood agent. Okay, so they know he's all rich. They know he's wealthy. So
yeah, everyone in the movie knows.
Yeah, no one would have batted an eye if he had a nanny for his kids. Like, I don't know why he wanted to keep that a secret. No one, like, who would be surprised? You're rich. Like, most rich people probably have like nannies or some house.
Yeah, I kept saying throughout the whole movie, it's like,
something.
dude, like, it's fine if you have a personal assistant or whatever. Like, who cares? You know?
Well,
like,
to
I
be
know,
fair,
like, none of them
bring
would
it
have cared.
along.
I don't know why, like, he felt
This
the
is
need
so-
to hide that throughout
well,
the whole
to
movie.
be fair, it's weird for us to watch that, but it makes sense just as a character. People do get self-conscious about being wealthy or the opposite. So I mean,
I know, but his friends all knew he was really wealthy. I get if they didn't know how wealthy he was or something like that. Maybe it would have made sense, but they all knew.
And it would have been fine if it was funny, honestly.
Yeah, and it just
none of that
wasn't.
wealthy shit was funny at all. That was at least funny bit, like plot point.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Adam Sandler's character is like this rich Hollywood agent.
Yeah, Adam
his
Sandler
kids
plays
are-
himself.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
His kids are super annoying.
Yeah,
I
very
didn't
like
either of them.
stereotypically spoiled.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
they
like
don't know what tap
obvious
water is.
jokes.
The tube
Or-
TV part in the beginning. What's this on the back of the TV?
What bugged me about that too is like, why is he acting surprised that they're spoiled? Be a parent.
He
to
doesn't
them.
hang out with them enough, I guess.
I guess, dude.
I
to be
guess.
dad, I don't
just-
know.
I don't
That's
know why
one
he's so surprised that he's spoiled.
That's one problem I had with this entire movie, honestly, was like, I didn't like any of the characters. I don't think there was like a single person I really thought was like, oh, I'm rooting for them, or I like that they're funny, other than like Steve Buscemi, I guess. But
I think the only character that really flat out annoyed me, like most of the others, I felt like pretty indifferent towards. But blanking out on his name, David Spade.
yeah, his character was
his character was obnoxious. I hated that character. That was like the only one.
That whole drunk part with him too. It's so overdone.
Like every scene with him was just annoying to me,
dude. There was
and he
one
can be
part.
funny, so he was like the only one that really stood out.
Yeah,
every time he popped up on screen,
I want to say,
like,
like, I think everyone, like all five of them, can be funny.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? Like, I've seen roles from each of them where they are pretty funny, and it's like I don't know. It's obvious this movie doesn't have like a script because it feels like improvised, but not in a funny way. There's no there's like end goals to certain scenes. Okay, we start here, we end here with a scene, but like, I don't know. None of their improv is like funny. It's weird.
So yeah, there's one improv moment with David Spade, and I like David Spade. I even like his stand-up, but the one part he had, and it probably went over your head because it's so quick, but it was so fucking cringy. It was at some point in midway through the movie, they're all sitting together, right after they get to the lake house, and they're all sitting in a line in their lawn chairs, and I get they were trying to portray their friendship in the movie, but they did that thing where like he just came up with a weird jokey scenario and everybody laughed at it, but it just wasn't fucking funny. And you could tell that's one of the moments where it's like, dude, I could honestly tell if a writer wrote that, he wouldn't have read it. So he improv'd it. And there was that one part, man, it was not that funny. And I don't blame him. I blame like the character he had to deal with at that point. To be honest, he probably had a good time doing it. But if I'm going to review this movie, other than me just liking it as a humorous thing, I got to bring this shit up. Like that was terrible. And some of the jokes he has are really funny, but that one part, man, yeah. And some of the improv, it just doesn't hit. It's like, it feels like the only parts that honestly hit are the ones that you could tell that weren't improv, except for maybe like a couple scenes, but I don't know if they were improv or not. It just seemed maybe like it. They're all good actors, so I can't tell the difference sometimes, but just
I
on
think
that.
David Spade's character is the only one that didn't make me either like grin or like lightly chuckle at all. Like, at least I think everybody else made me at least grin, but not David Spade's character. I just found him very obnoxious.
Yeah.
You know, I'm looking at my list. There's one laugh from, like, there's only one laugh from one of the five guys.
What is it?
Or
It's
which
really
one?
stupid, but it made me laugh. It's when Kevin James gets the call about like the coach dying, and like he breaks the pool. They're like in like an
Yes.
outdoor pool, and he like breaks through it. I was
That
like,
did
"Oh,
make
okay,
me kind
whatever."
of that made me chuckle. I'm not gonna lie. I knew a friend who kind of did something similar like that, so it made me think of that.
You had a real life, like,
But that wasn't the part
situation
that made
like
me
that?
laugh. It was like he's like running up to his wife who's like
Yes,
holding the
yes.
phone, and he slips, and it caught me off guard, and I laughed at that. But it
That's
wasn't
cool.
like, I don't know, it wasn't like he said anything, or
Yeah,
you know
It's
what I
just
mean?
fat guy falling down. It's funny.
Hey,
Yeah, and
nothing wrong with that.
we
Nothing
got to talk
wrong with
about
Yeah,
every
I mean, it
joke
made
with
me
Kevin
chuckle. Like, I'm
James.
not gonna lie.
Every joke with Kevin James in this movie just feels like they're laughing at him because he's fat, and it's
Yeah,
really, it's like
he's just haha fat
sad.
guy.
There's like a part like during the funeral where like Adam Sandler is like giving a speech, and he's Kevin James like yells something back to them, like they're kind of, you know, playfully, and then like Adam Sandler says something like, "Do you know the line, Dustin?"
Yeah, he goes, yeah, but they had a quality you didn't. They knew how to pass the ball. And he's like, well, it looks like you should learn how to pass the Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yeah, and then Kevin James just looks legitimately sad.
Yeah,
Probably,
and
like,
dude.
improv.
I almost laughed, but I was more just like, "Aw, like what the fuck?"
You felt bad.
I
I
think that's something like, because these guys, I think like the whole thing with this movie is they're acting. You get a bunch of grown men together and they'll act like teenagers, because this is something like my friends when we were teenagers. There was like the big guy in the group, and of course, like, you're 14 years old, you're all gonna make like fat jokes because you're a jerk. You're just a high schooler or junior higher. You're just gonna be mean.
Oh yeah.
So it made me think of that a little bit.
Yeah, it was just, I don't know. Yeah, it made me more sad than like, oh, like that was funny. It was just like him slipping wasn't like, I guess it's like, oh yeah, fat guy fell, but like it was just like, oh, that was kind of funny, like that he, slipped. I don't know.
It can be funny. It can work.
And then who else is there? Chris Rock's character is just like
Weird.
he doesn't like his whole thing is like he likes to cook.
And I think his whole
Was
thing
that
was
it?
like the
No.
reverse role where he's the stay-at-home dad,
Yeah, it's reversed.
and they're all
Yeah.
kind of making fun of him for that. Like, they several
Which that-
times, like, kind of call him a woman or something like that.
Yeah,
Like,
that
haha,
that
you're the
felt
stay-at-home
really,
mom, basically.
I mean, that felt really outdated, and it was like, what's I don't know. I mean, I know they're like supposed to be friends, and they're like, giving each other shit like playfully, but I think my problem was like it never felt playful. It just felt kind of mean spirited,
Yeah, his definitely did feel more mean-spirited, the shots at him.
I didn't feel that way.
Yeah,
Especially
it's
like his
just,
own
like,
family, at
oddly
least.
so.
Like, at least like everybody else's family in this felt like supporting of their husbands or loving, whereas like his wife just took shots at him all the time, and they felt very mean-spirited.
Yeah,
To be
it
fair,
was-
and this is my, oh God, please, I want to make this clear. To be fair on that point, even though this was my most hated fucking part of the whole movie at the very end, they did technically address that at the end of why, like he brought up how his wife at the end. Again, let me make this clear. I fucking hated the ending of this whole part because it didn't make any sense and it didn't flow well. But they did address that at the very, you remember what I'm talking about? They like all the
Yes.
drama happens with all the couples and they kind of, but it didn't make sense in the comfort of the fucking, that's my worst. I hate that part so much, but
Yeah.
he did
Okay.
something about it. And
I did
also,
get
I
a
don't
few
think it was in
chuckles
bad
out of
taste.
Chris Rock though, just because something about his delivery is still funny. Chris Rock just makes me laugh, so I did get a
Especially
few
after the
chuckles out of
slap,
him
dude.
just for that. I think
Yeah,
also I liked how he delivered the line like she's like, I brought home a pizza. He's like, okay, have your pizza. Rip my heart.
I feel
It made me
like
chuckle.
things in
Just
this
his
movie.
delivery.
I feel like things in this movie. I can see how they're supposed to be funny, but then I don't know. It's like something about it just wouldn't get a laugh out of me. I don't know. Like I'll skip to the end, like the very end, real quick. But there's a part where they go into the woods, and I don't know what the game is called, but they like basically shoot an arrow straight into the air,
arrow.
and they're supposed to like stand there, and whoever like leaves the circle last is like the winner.
I'd be the first one out of that circle. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care if I
Yeah.
lose.
And then I thought it was like, it didn't make me laugh, but like I thought it was a funny thing to bring it back in like a crowded setting. That was like a funny setup, but it didn't make me laugh. And I'm like, oh, man, I should be laughing at that, Like that's a funny setup. I don't.
Let me tell you something about that scene too. I've done that game, and the most
Really?
unrealistic
I am
part
not
of
surprised.
I have done that game. The most unrealistic part about this entire movie is the arrow coming down at the same exact point of which you shot it. It does not
Yeah,
happen.
especially
Yeah, I noticed that too.
it was weird too because
Dude.
like Adam Sandler does not shoot it straight up. He shoots it like at an angle.
Yeah, and let me say this too, for that whole game, unless you got somebody who knows how to use a fucking bow, running away from it is more dangerous than staying in the center. Because if you're shooting that bitch is going at an angle. If you're running away from it, you're going towards, like, you better hope you ain't, depending on where it's going, it doesn't hit you. I've never seen someone get fucking shot by an arrow or anything, and we used, like, I won't go into it, but
if this movie had come out a year or two later, they could have had it in the knee and made a Skyrim joke. Lost opportunity.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
Dude, if they made a Skyrim reference, this would be my favorite movie of all time. Easy. Easy. Dude, I'm telling you right now.
Who else is left? Oh, Rob Schneider's character,
which didn't return in the second movie. Just pointing that out.
Really, I'm a little surprised at that.
I think everybody would be okay with that. His character was also like pretty close to David Spade, where the whole movie was just kind of making fun of him and roasting him, but it really wasn't funny for the most part.
Yeah, it was like he's basically into older women, and that's like, I mean, I don't know. Honest, and to each their own. Like it just felt like weirdly mean spirited. It's like,
no, that's not mean spirited, dude. It was very obvious that it's a social thing. Everybody knows there ain't nothing wrong in your later ages with an age gap. Everyone knows that, but they're making fun of the old school concept because even when this came out, everybody knew that this isn't some woke movement. It wasn't mean spirited.
It doesn't feel playful though. It doesn't feel like these characters are. I don't know, just their delivery or something about it just never felt like these people are friends to me. They all felt like
more like we're laughing at you, not laughing with you.
Yeah, it's okay. Like I love It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is like 5 characters who all kind of hate each other and all like take shots at each other all the time. But in that, it's like, okay, they're basically not friends. But in this movie, they're supposed to be friends. It's really strange. I don't know. It just like really did not give off the vibe that I felt like it was trying to give off,
I think it failed in a lot of points on that too. Like I think they shot for certain things and it didn't really hit the mark. Even then, I thought some of those parts were funny, but like straight up, the best people I've ever met in my life, I shit all over them way harder than this, and they shit all over me, which is another reason why I like this movie. I'm the opposite, man. I feel like you're
But
never
you-
gonna have a friend like they have. Like if you can make fun of somebody, if you can make fun of their weight, and that other person that you're friends with knows that you want nothing but the best for them, and you're willing to make that joke and they know it, dude, that's a bond like no other. I fucking
Here's
love
the
it.
problem though. Like when you do that with people in real life, like if we did that with each other, like we'd laugh back, right? Like we kind of know that we're taking shots at each other playfully.
Yeah, there's no like real mean spirited coming from any of us usually because
Yeah,
I mean we've been to it, like hung out at Julian's house, how many years, and we've all taken shots at each other, made fun of each other, but it's never felt like really mean spirited.
Yeah, in
Like
this
we're
movie,
trying to
there's
hurt
always,
each other,
I
yeah,
didn't
in
feel
this
like
movie,
that, man.
there's always like
I didn't feel
reaction
like there
shots
was
from
mean
people.
spirited shit.
I don't know. There's always
I
reaction
kind of
shots
felt that a little bit because he
Well,
clearly wasn't. Oh, sorry, let Julian.
well, there's always reaction shots of like the recipient of the joke like looking like hurt by it. They look like they're genuinely hurt by it, and
Yeah,
it's
but
like that's not
I do that.
funny. I don't
Yeah,
know.
but dude, that's exactly how I react sometimes. If somebody brings up some personal shit on me for a roast, I ain't fucking laughing at it. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like that's not cool, but everyone's laughing. It's like whatever. But I get past it because they're my fucking friends. Same with other dude. I have said some fucked up shit to people in a really funny way because I'm friends with them. And they did not take it well. Trust me. I don't expect a fucking laugh every time I go to like joke with somebody. That's not my fucking goal, is to be a fucking comedian. There have been really awkward times, but we're still friends to this fucking day. Like I've had mean-spirited pranks happen to me, and they bring them up now, and I don't think they're fucking funny because it annoys the fuck out of me. But at the same time, it's like, dude, I love the guy who did it, or girl, whoever you are. But like, I honestly, other than maybe a few like kind of older school, because everything's kind of woke these days. Nothing wrong with that. But you could tell this definitely came out in the beginning of the 2010s, right after the 2000s, because some of the humor. But even then, I don't think it was in a mean spirit. And to be honest, even when I first saw this, honestly, the first time am even thinking about this is because you brought it up. I never felt there was mean-spirited shit. That being said, you can tell some of the jokes are mean, but I think the whole point is, whether it hit or not is to be discussed. But the whole point is they are friends and they do joke like that and they're kind of okay with it. And that's because they've known each other since they were fucking 10. And how many people do you know that were friends since they were 10 that are still together in that big of a group? It's so rare. So there's obviously, the point they're trying to make is that they are that close. Whether or not it feels like that is a different case, but that is the point of it. So I never really, I guess
I get what the point of it is, but yeah, I just didn't feel it.
I get what you mean.
I think
I gotta give my
that's a big
thoughts on
problem
this
for
shit.
me.
I get what you mean though.
Okay. I did want to go back to Rob Schneider because there was one laugh in the introduction scene. He's like putting hot coals on his wife.
Yeah.
Was it his wife?
Yes. his
Okay.
wife.
Yeah.
Okay.
His
'Cause
fourth,
I
right? Or
think
his third?
something like that.
Third, yeah, I think so.
But he's like putting hot coals on her for like whatever, like massage or therapy or whatever. And like he gets the call and I forget exactly what happens, but like he basically drops one of the hot coals on her. I think he was like maybe supposed to put a towel on her first or something. I don't know.
Yes.
I
But
think
like
the joke was
she
like
just-
the rocks were too hot.
Yeah.
I don't think they're supposed to
something.
like burn you or your point to the point where you scream. Not
But,
supposed
yeah,
to be that hot.
But I did laugh when she screamed and then it just like immediately cut away.
Yeah, it cut it off, dude.
It's like, perfectly cut screams. Like I laughed at that.
Do you know there's a subreddit for that, by the way, that you would really enjoy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Fuck, never mind.
I'm trying to think. Should I go through like the rest of the stuff I laughed at, or should we keep
Yes.
going with the plot?
Go for it. Go
Send
through
it.
the stuff you laughed at. I'm curious.
Okay. this one I think got a bigger laugh out of me. And it's just when Chris Rock's mom, is it Chris Rock's mom or is it
His
supposed to
stepmom.
be? Okay, so it's his wife's mom. Okay,
Yes.
but she's like, just they get to the cabin or whatever, and she's like walking up the stairs, and she just like knocks one of the kids over on the
Yes,
stairs.
dude.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
That made me laugh.
That
I
was
didn't see
dude,
that coming.
He went down like a
Like-
sack of potatoes, bro. Like just
Yeah.
straight
She
like
yeeted that,
And
Family
then no
Guy.
one addresses it, and like that was kind of funny. Like that made me laugh.
and no one like talks about that or anything like
At
right
all.
after too. They just it just kind of comes and goes.
Dude, he did
Yeah,
the Family
exactly.
Guy 2-frame fall to the side. Like
And then okay, there's a part where all the kids are, which I have to say, some like, okay, that girl, Adam Sandler's daughter, I know she's a kid, but terrible acting.
yeah.
I was not really not convinced.
I
That's
mean, how
mean to
much you
say,
can
but,
ask,
like,
man? How is that even a fucking? What do you expect? I guess there are kids
But
her
I mean,
age that are good at it, right? Like,
yeah, of course.
I guess you're right.
It was,
Never mind. I take back what I said.
it was just really weird. Like it was so monotone. But I don't want to like harp on it or anything. But like I wanted to mention it. But
Wow,
there's a
bullying
part where all the
children, huh?
kids, yeah, yeah, the kid falling over, and then this terrible actress. And oh god, okay, well, so the kids are all okay. These three in a row were all like a kid like was injured or like
Of
scared
course,
or
Julian
something.
would find the humor in that.
Oh yeah, dude.
Child violence is something that Julian
So
finds quite
hilarious,
funny.
You know, it was funny. I watched Master of Disguise recently, and
His
the
other
only
favorite
part-
movie.
oh yeah, of course. I'll say this wasn't as bad as Master of Disguise. Master of Disguise is like a straight up 0. That movie's awful. But like the one gag that got me was like this kid on a scooter or something just like constantly falls over and eats shit, and it made me laugh every single time.
I
was
haven't
like,
seen it.
"This is
I think
horrible."
you told me about that scene. How you laughed at
Yeah.
that.
And then in Flubber, like when the kid is like scared like of like oh, there's like a monster outside the window, that made me laugh. So I don't know, just terrorize kids in movies and it'll make
And
them
that will
laugh.
make Julian laugh. All right, duly noted.
But so they're all like all the kids have like the cup telephones, you know, with the wire and everything. I don't know what you call it, but
Yeah, that's it. Cup phone.
yeah, cup phone. And like they have like a bunch of them, and like one of Chris Rock's kid is like in the bathroom, and Adam Sandler goes in and like
He screamed.
pulls back the curtain, and the kid like just screams, and I was like, that was funny.
That's a good one.
So, and then the last one that was a kid related, I guess, was Selma Hayek just throwing the rock and it hitting the kid and like
Oh,
straight up.
so funny.
Oh yeah, I didn't
Dude,
see
she
that
was
coming.
winding up for it. Like
Yeah,
Just
that was
humbles
funny.
the kid.
out of nowhere.
And then I got 2 laughs from Steve Buscemi in the cast. One was with just he like
Dude, I fucking
I laughed at the part
It
where
was
he's like,
funny.
"I'm an animal," and he's like, "Woo," or makes some noise like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And then like
that almost
first
made
it's
me
like
laugh.
tries to go under the rope and then just like goes over.
dude.
That whole thing made me chuckle.
Almost every scene Steve Buscemi is in made me laugh. If not all of them. Compared to the other characters, that is not the case.
He
But
was
him,
easily
for
like
some
the
reason-
funniest part of the movie.
Dude, he's a
Yeah.
classic dude. Like, how do you not laugh at Steve? Good old
Steve
Buscemi,
Buscemi's
man.
like, I feel like he's often the best part of any Adam Sandler movie. Like Billy
yeah, dude,
Madison.
every time.
I that's like, it's just that character was great. But like I laughed at him, in the cast. He's just in a full body cast because they go to a water park, and
Very
he
random.
there's like a zip line, I guess. Which
Yeah.
I have to mention this, that the zip line goes like over the water, but there is like absolutely like a little strip of pavement there.
Yes, I
in
noticed
the
that
middle,
too. Yeah,
and
that
it's
would
like,
not fly.
Yeah, there's no
Someone could-
fucking way.
Someone
Dude,
could
okay.
easily let go and fall right
Technically,
onto that.
Yeah,
There was one legendary park that would have gotten away with that called Action Park.
I've heard of Action Park. Yeah, there's like a whole documentary on that park.
Yeah, and then
But I
called,
did
like-
notice that part.
what's his name
Yeah,
did
that-
a movie on it.
Like,
I don't think
ooh,
it was
that would
called
not-
Action
that is
Park.
not
I think that
safe.
was the name of the movie.
It looks really fun, but not safe.
Yeah.
No, people called it Class Action Park because people
Yeah.
would have class action lawsuits against the park.
Yeah.
I
Was
don't
the
know if the
actual
park is
name
actually
Action
called
Park,
that.
or was that just the name of the movie that what's his name did about it? Johnny Knoxville.
I don't know.
I think it had a different name, but I don't care. I'm getting off topic.
Name too. But yeah, so like he doesn't fall on the pavement. I was expecting him to. Like I thought that was almost like a setup, but he like goes on the zip line upside down. So he's like, instead of holding on to the little handles, like he puts his feet in them.
Yeah, they tell him
like
like,
upside
use your
down.
feet,
Yeah, and he can't get out halfway
which is
down.
understandable. I like the same thing would happen. I think to like most people, it's like, oh, one foot stuck, I can't get out. Uh-oh.
Yeah. So he crashes into like a shack, and then the next time you see him, he's in a full body cast. And yeah, for some reason, like, the cast has his arms up, and it just something about that visual was funny to me. And
That
then
was
there's a
really
part
cheering.
later.
They're all cheering in the crowd, and his arms are
Yeah.
still up, and he tries to cheer again.
I think that's the specific part that got me. And then he like bends over later in the cast, and it just again the visual of it was funny to me, so I laughed. And then, God, this part just caught me off guard, and I just had to laugh. But when they're doing like a rematch of the basketball game from when they were kids, and Chris Rock and I don't remember this guy's name, but he's really funny. He was in like Semi-Pro. Tim Meadows. This guy is fucking hilarious. But like Chris Rock and Tim Meadows go to each other, and Tim Meadows says, "Yeah," he says, "Well, if it isn't the other black guy who
Yeah, I
grew
know. There's
up
only
here,"
two black people like the whole
And
movie. So.
I laughed. That was like so out of nowhere. So those were my 8 laughs for a how long is this movie? Like 100 minutes?
Like an hour and a
102
half or
minutes?
something.
Hour and 42.
That's
It
that's
was
not
longer than I
very
thought it'd
good.
be.
Yeah.
Am I the only one that felt like the movie got to like the halfway point and felt like feels like where it should end, but it's just
No.
halfway?
I didn't
Oh yeah,
feel
there
that.
Okay.
were like multiple scenes where I was like, is it ending?
Yeah, it just felt like an ending was coming. It was like,
I,
no, we're
I
halfway
never
through the
felt
movie.
that way. I thought
Okay,
the
I
whole
felt that way
beginning
multiple
was
times.
the slowest fucking part. They could have gotten rid of some of that shit.
Oh, there's definitely I felt this movie was really slow and boring at times. Because like I'm not laughing at the jokes and nothing's really happening plot-wise.
Mhm.
You know? A lot of my favorite comedies usually have like some kind of plot, you know? Even if it's just to like get something happening. This movie really doesn't have anything. Like, I think this movie should have been more about the basketball game. Because, like,
Dude,
they
it
set
got
it up
started in the
right
beginning.
away. Yeah, they set it up right away, and it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, the other team, they're assholes, and, like, they want a rematch, you know? And then the whole movie could have had scenes of them, like, training or something, you know? It could have just, like, led to some stupid, like, sports movie type shit.
Mhm.
But it's like an afterthought in the movie. It feels like flubber,
You know what I
where
didn't
it's just like,
get
oh,
about
there's a basketball match. Like, why?
that? Yeah.
Yo, that's true.
Maybe
Well,
you
yeah,
guys
what
can-
was up with
Didn't need
like
to happen.
you know what I was confused about though, really quick?
uh-huh.
The wives were all making the jerseys for them, right, to play in the basketball game.
Yeah,
And then at the end, like when they're coming up and like kind of challenging them, he's like, "Oh no, we just want to relax with our families." I was like, "Wait, I thought we're having your wives make uniforms for this basketball game though," and then you were just like, "Oh no, we don't want to do that. We want to relax with our families. Come on, man." It's like, why did you have to make the uniforms then?
I don't know.
Did I miss
must have-
something?
I must have missed that.
I
think
missed that too. I don't know.
there were parts like during this movie where I was just like, you know, like talking to David, like, what is going on? Like, are you following this? Or so like I might have missed things. But yeah, it was like this should have been the whole crux of the movie or something, you know, or more of a focus. And it's not. It's like, oh, it just comes up and then it's done. And that's kind of it. The real like dramatic conflict in this movie is like apparently like, oh, Adam Sandler and his family are supposed to go to Milan, but Adam Sandler wants to stay at the vacation at the lake house. It's like, dude, why do we need this? Like, who cares? It's not funny. It's just like it's like a thing that you put into a movie that it's like, oh yeah, well I guess like there has to be some kind of drama. I don't think there needs to be drama, but there needs to be like a plot or something. I don't know.
Yeah, they could have removed that whole thing and it would have been the same movie.
Yeah, it like has no bearing on anything. It's so weird. I guess we should mention the wives too, because they were like kind of characters. I like they were, but they're I don't know. They're not really the focus, but they're still in it quite a bit.
Secondary to the movie.
Yeah, they're secondary. Which is like fine. Every Adam Sandler movie is like hey, like one of the most like attractive actresses is like his wife or in love with him or something, and it's like
every time.
This feels like a plot hole. Like this feels like
there's no way Adam Sandler would get that.
I mean, like it's fine, but like when it happens so many times, it's like okay, I see what you're doing. Like I don't know, Selma Hayek's character is just like I guess I don't know. There, she's there. I don't know what's her character. She's like kind of uptight about stuff, I guess.
Hey, which one is she?
Adam Sandler's wife.
Oh, she was, dude. She made me cringe in that movie. A few scenes, man. She's just supposed to be, I guess, like the successful. I mean, he's successful too, but she's like the up and coming, successful, launching all kinds of new shit. And it just, I think the only reason, not that she was there, but that plot point existed was to create, like you said, like some kind of weird plot to get people invested, but it didn't really happen because people were there for the jokes in the first place, kind of thing. But she didn't really, she wasn't like a good or worse half of him as a character. She was just kind of there to, I think, create tension, which I don't really care about because it was just about jokes for me, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's her character's kind of there just to have drama. And then Kevin James's wife in the movie.
I thought she was funny, even though she has a limited part.
I think like all the actresses did a pretty good job with their performances.
All I think about with her is just the one recurring joke they have with her the whole movie.
With her breastfeeding the kid who's like
that
4.
I think that could have been funny if they just used it once.
Yeah,
but they just kept doing that joke over and over, and then I would think if you're watching this at some point, it's like you would ask like just give him like regular milk, which then Kevin James does, just like here's some milk, drink that, and then the kid like just drinks that milk. Why didn't you do that like 3 years ago?
Yeah, there's no reason for it. It's really just to have her like pop her tit out.
Pretty much.
That's basically it.
I don't know about that. That's a little much.
I don't know. I mean, it's just like crude humor, which I think could be funny, but it was just like
I just think it was done too much. Like the first time, if it had just been that, it's like okay, that's kind of funny. Didn't see that coming. Haha, he's too old to be doing that. It could work, but they kept going with that joke, kind of like with the she's not a nurse, she's studying, blah blah blah, and they kept doing that over again. It's like this isn't. Just stop. That's how I felt about that joke too. Just like okay, like it was fine the first time, but just it's not funny.
Yeah. And then Chris Rock's wife is played by Maya Rudolph, who again I think is like a funny actress, but she's not I don't know. She's not really in this too much, so I don't know. And then David Spade's like the only one who's single. And then, oh yeah, there's Rob Schneider's wife, who's just basically just like a nice grandma, like basically.
Yeah. Except that when she just roasted the shit out of him at the end.
Yeah, which again, it's like, okay, I see why this is supposed to be funny, but it just feels like,
That part was more
I don't know.
entertaining than it was funny because it did not make me laugh, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's just weird. Like, and that was another scene. Like, a lot of recent Adam Sandler movies feel like they have that like that forced sentimentality to like make you think the movie has like a heart, when it's like really just an excuse to like for them to vacation.
Yeah.
And yeah, that whole scene of them like all fighting and like, oh, I got to get this off my chest, and
Worst
they're
part
all
ever.
revealing secrets.
Worst.
It's like there's just skip this part.
There was no fucking real buildup throughout. Basically, there was like a scene for each of those problems that nobody gave a shit about or thought about until it came up again at the end. There was no point. I skip that part every time I watch a movie. I skip it. I skip the whole thing. It's not funny.
Yeah, and I'll say, like, I think this movie could have been really funny if it was essentially a parody of this type of premise. Like, if it was more like sarcastic about those like sentimental moments, and like, I don't know, it was weird. Like, this whole movie feels like it's like a commercial, like the way it's shot. There were some scenes in this movie where like they're like on like a ferry or like in the truck or whatever, and it just feels like these quick shots that like you would see in a commercial. And it was really weird. And I was like, if the movie was like, yeah, like a parody of the Vacation movie or something, I think it would have been kind of funny. But I don't know. Like, then the mean spirited, like, or the mean jokes like would have, I think, landed for me. But it's like, okay, you guys are trying to actually be sentimental. That's odd. And it's like about this coach who none of the characters interacted with after they were kids. Like,
Yep.
why? So weird. Yeah, I don't know. Like, what else is there to talk about this movie?
I ain't got
Not a
nothing.
whole lot.
I ain't got
Not
nothing.
a lot. Yeah, it just really didn't work for me,
What
and I knew it wasn't gonna.
What was the funniest part to you?
The funniest part, the funniest joke in the movie?
Yeah, that you enjoyed the most or laughed at the most, however you want to define it.
Honestly, I liked just the completely like nonchalant delivery of the like, well, if it isn't the other black guy who grew up here. It was
Those
just
are my
like,
white people.
yeah, that was funny to me. Like, it was so stupid.
I loved it. My favorite funny
I think-
part was the where they're all sitting outside looking at what's his name's daughter, Rob Schneider's daughter, and they're like, "Wait, are we all look?" They're
Oh
like,
yeah,
"All
that
right."
was another thing.
We're like, "All right, let's look at the tree." And it's like, "Wait, are we all looking at the tree right now?" And he's like, "All right, back to the ass." And they
I remember that was in the trailer for the movie.
Was it? I don't even remember watching.
I'm
the
pretty
trailer.
sure.
I'm not surprised why.
That's
Yeah.
so funny to me. Oh my god! And then his other daughter came out, and they were like, "Oh, that makes sense." I was like, "Dude, that's fucked up, man."
I don't know. What else is there to say about?
I got
Grown
nothing.
Ups?
I thought it was funny. That's it.
Well, you got anything else?
Not really. I think we discussed everything that we got a laugh out of the movie and covered the main plot, what
Yeah, pretty
existed
much.
of it. So
Yeah.
I guess it's time to rate.
I guess so. Dustin, why don't you go first since you picked the movie?
Julian's rating
three-
will definitely be last for sure.
Three and a half for me.
3.5. Wow. Okay. I mean, I it's weird because I was expecting higher. Because
From me?
yeah, because you were saying like this is like the funniest movie to you.
Oh yeah, it is.
And
This is
like
my
to me,
number one comedy.
like the funniest movie to me, I would give a 5, irregardless of like
Oh
quality.
no. The way I categorize and review shit's a little weird because like
We noticed.
if I honestly, yeah, from the shit I've honestly requested here.
I mean, hey, as long as you're consistent with it, I'd
The
say
way
that's fine.
I kind of in my
Agreed.
mind when it comes to reviewing shit, this isn't a movie. The only reason I kind of went in depth with it is because that's kind of what this is about. But I do not view that movie in the fucking slightest as like a review type film type thing, dude. I watch it to laugh and like hang out with people to watch. Like that's all it is to me. Is just a funny pastime and I laugh at it because it's stupid humor. But if I'm like, I'll give it a 3.5. The reason it's not higher is because like if I'm gonna rate a movie, then it's going to be based on that kind of film stuff. So I wouldn't give it any higher. Like the only reason it's not a 3 is because I do like it as a comedy. If I watched this and I didn't think it was that funny, it'd be a 2.5 or a 3. But I don't know. There's some personal mixed shit in there, so 3.5. If you kind of
Okay.
get what I'm saying, I guess. I don't know. I kind of explain
Yeah.
shit weird, but
All right, Will, what do you give it?
wait,
this
let me
is a-
guess.
Okay, go ahead.
2.
You know, this is a hard movie to rate. Any comedy can be, because it's like, do you rate it just how many times it made you laugh, how hard it made you laugh, how many jokes worked, how many didn't? I'm feeling like I'll give this movie. It's either going to be 1.5 or 2.
Hmm.
2 might feel a little too high just because it didn't. It made me chuckle enough where I don't want to give it too low of rating, because I think the only thing that really works about this movie is like because these guys are, I'm sure, all friends in real life, their chemistry is good and they feel like they would be friends in real life. That's like the only thing that like really works for this movie. So at least I can believe like this is a group of people that like to be together and joke around and roast each other all the time. So like the chemistry's there. It's just like the movie has no plot and a lot of the jokes don't land for me. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and give it a. What did I give Flubber? Do you know, Julian?
I'm looking it up. You gave it a 1.5.
I think it's better than Flubber.
Really?
Yeah. I
You
mean,
don't
this
think
movie
this is better than Flubber? Are you serious?
Wait, what'd you say?
Flubber? No, for Julian. Flubber fucking blows ass. I just think it's entertaining. You think
It
this
literally
is not
blew
better
ass.
than that?
at one
Yeah.
point.
No shot.
Flubber, I
No,
think, was a little bit more
okay.
obnoxious than this.
Definitely.
I think Flubber was more weird and entertaining. Like I think if I had to watch one again, I would watch Flubber because
could
it
see
was
that.
at least just like because honestly, I think my biggest problem with this movie was like it was just kind of boring at times. I wasn't like really invested or entertained with anything. So I mean, that's just me.
Yeah, I don't think I was too bored with it. I don't remember being bored out of my mind. I wasn't really bored watching Flubber either. I think Flubber made me a little bit more angry just because Robin Williams' character, like, kept not going to his own stinking wedding, and that just pissed me off. Like, this movie didn't piss me off, like Flubber, but I mean, I don't know. Like,
What do you feel? What do you feel in your soul, in your heart?
I
Yeah,
think
dude.
I think I'm just gonna go with a 2.
Okay.
I'll go with a 2. I think that's fine.
I think Julian. Will, what do you think Julian's gonna give it?
I
think it's
initially
pretty obvious what I'm gonna
said
give
it was either going to be a 0.5 or a 1. I think he's going to give it a 1 because it made him laugh unexpectedly. It actually got a couple more laughs than I thought it would. So I think he's going to give it a 1.
Based on my knowledge of how much you like movies and film and nothing else, I think it's going to, I want to say 1, but I think it's going to be a 0.5. I don't know.
I think because it made him laugh a little bit, he'll give it a 1. Maybe that's not enough to bump it
That's
up.
a good point.
It's either going to be half a star or 1. Like,
yeah.
I'm giving it half a star.
I knew it.
it because I gave Flubber half a star and I didn't
Did you?
like this. Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
pretty sure I
remember.
did.
I thought you gave it like a fucking 2 or something.
No, I gave it half a star.
Damn.
And like in hindsight, this made Flubber look like Citizen Kane in comparison. I was like, fuck.
No way, dude.
Because at
Really?
least Flubber had some weird creativity, and it was so batshit insane that it was like kind of interesting.
What the
This
hell?
movie, I really wasn't invested or like engaged with anything other than like I'm gonna write down what jokes made me laugh, but eight laughs for a comedy movie is really bad.
That's still
and
way more
especially
than I
for, like,
thought. That's 8 more laps than I thought it would make you do.
I know, me
That's
too.
cool.
I knew Steve Buscemi was gonna get a laugh out of me or two. And he got 2. But yeah, there was like some other unexpected moments that did make me laugh.
That's the only reason I
But-
thought you'd maybe go like, maybe he'll give it like half a star more because he actually laughed a couple times.
What's
No,
My
this
initial
movie-
one was right. I should have gone with that one. Dang it.
what's the added up score for this one?
God, hold on. 2.
Is that the lowest?
I think John Carter was lower.
Was it 1.5? I'm not
Not our
surprised.
most
Yeah.
viewed review.
John Carter and Flubber are lower than this movie.
Oh God, man.
I definitely think John Carter was more interesting, but okay. Yeah,
Fuck no.
I mean, they're all bad. They're all bad. Don't watch these movies.
Facts.
Or I guess
I
if you agree with Dustin,
let me say this again. I feel like it's not fucking getting through here. This is not a good movie. All right. I don't know how many times I got to say this. It's not. If you're gonna watch this based on knowledge of film and movie and acting and roles and writing and everything, it's not a good movie. And I agree with that. I have no issues with that. I never thought it was a good movie, but I do think it's pretty fucking funny.
that's
Which is
fair.
why I maybe wasn't going to request this, by the way, because it's hard for me to review something like this. I had to think about shit to say, man. I just watched this as like a dumb dude on the couch watching TV type thing. Like, I wasn't going to do it, but now I feel like I should request number 2 in a few weeks.
Oh God, fuck you.
I'm not
Please
gonna
don't.
do that.
I've heard
I'm not
that's
gonna do
really
that
bad.
shit.
Like at least the first one, from most people say is tolerable, but the second
I-
one, even like hardcore
Dude.
fans of the first one don't like the second one.
Yeah,
Don't do that to us.
Dude, the second one is not as funny. It's stupid, but Steve Buscemi is in it a lot more.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. Honestly, when you recommended this movie to me, I was almost like, God damn it, you couldn't recommend the second one? Because like at least I haven't seen it. And there's a podcast called The Worst Idea of All Time, where
Ooh.
they pick one movie, or this is kind of the format for a while, but like they pick one movie and just review it. They watch and review it every week. And the first movie they did was Grown Ups 2. So at least if I watched Grown Ups 2, I could follow that podcast. But
That'd be fun.
please don't. Please don't recommend Grown Ups 2.
I make no promises.
Oh dear.
He'll do it at some point. Watch.
Honestly, I'm not going to be real, because I don't even like it that much. What do you guys do it? Sure, but I'm not going to.
Oh, dear.
Alrighty. Well, I
Well,
guess
that's-
it's time to hear
Yeah, what do
Julian's
we
pick
got,
for
dude?
next
I'm
week.
excited.
Okay. I had a movie in mind that was gonna be taken off of HBO Max, and then I was like, I don't want to do another, like, it's a good movie, but it was like I don't want to do like another slow movie. Like I just watched Grown Ups, so I'm gonna pick a movie that just came out. It's
Ooh.
on Disney Plus,
Ooh.
and I've been hearing lots of
Oh, I think I know what it is.
weird
Then.
things about it,
Wait,
and
is
it
it
seems interesting to me.
I know what
might
it is.
also know
I
what it
know what
is.
it is. I'm calling
Will,
it.
what do you think it is, Will?
It's the Chippendale movie, isn't it?
It's
I
a
think
Chip and
it-
Dale movie.
I knew
Fuck!
it.
I was gonna say something else. God
Oh,
damn it.
sorry, I didn't-
I've already seen some scenes from the movie,
Damn it.
but
Ugly
I have
Sonic,
too.
dude. I can't
yeah.
wait. I can't wait
I-
to see Ugly Sonic. I'm so
I'm
excited.
fascinated by this movie because it's directed by I'm trying to remember his name. I think
I actually
Akiva
thought
Schaffer.
I actually thought one of us would recommend this movie at some point because of all like the pop culture stuff and cameos and whatnot that I've been hearing about this movie.
I'm gonna hate
Yeah.
this shit. I can already tell you.
I saw a couple scenes online though, and it seems like it could be a fun movie.
I'm giving
Yeah,
it a
I've
1.
been hearing lots of mixed things about it. But
I
like,
was
most
I was
people
actually
positive.
pretty curious about it, so okay.
I
Yeah,
want to
it's-
say this. Based on what I've seen, I think from the trailer, I don't know anything about it. I don't know about the plot. I didn't even watch the whole trailer. I saw a clip of it on Instagram. I'm gonna do this now, and I'm curious of what my future self is gonna think. Based on what I fucking saw, I'm gonna rate it a 1.5 right now.
I
And then
can't see
when I
this
come
movie being
back,
lower
I
than
want to
Grown
see.
Ups.
I want to see if it'll be higher or lower after I watch it. I'm curious.
I don't think it's gonna be that high of a rating for me, but I have a feeling I might enjoy it because the director Akiva Schaffer is like one of the Lonely Island guys, and he directed
the
Oh, that's
band?
funny.
yeah, like the SNL guys, like
Really?
Andy Samberg and
That's
yeah.
funny.
So he directed Hot Rod, which is one of my
Ooh.
favorite comedies. I think that movie's hilarious.
Hot Rod's
Like,
great.
yeah, that movie's straight up fucking so funny.
That's funny.
So I'm really curious about this movie because of that. Because I was like, I thought this was just gonna be like some Chip and Dale like reboot, and then it's like, oh wait, it's like it seems like it's making fun of like reboots. So we'll see. I'm very curious about it. I thought it would make for a more interesting discussion than what I originally had in mind. So,
Well, wait.
and maybe I'll pick that at some point in the future. But
Okay, never mind. I was gonna ask you what it was, but if you're gonna pick it, don't say anything.
yeah, we'll see. So yeah, next week is what's the title? Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers.
Hell yeah.
It's on Disney Plus. It like just came out like I don't know, like a few days ago, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very recent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, if you want to watch that and follow along with the discussion, you can do that. And we'll see you next week.
Peace.
Bye everyone. Bye-bye.